Stop scrolling. Stop wasting your time on advice that doesn't work. What I'm about to reveal will completely change the way younger women see you, the way they respond to your energy, and the way your life moves in ways most men only dream of. Most men will never hear this, and that's why they stay invisible, overlooked, and frustrated while other men walk into a room and command attention without trying. This is not about money, looks, or fake charm. This is deeper. This is psychological, primal, and brutally honest. I'm going to show you 5 behaviors that make women stop in their tracks, behaviors that make you magnetic, irresistible, and unforgettable. And here's the truth. 99% of men are doing everything wrong. They think attraction is about being nice, being funny, or showing off. But the real secret is in the energy you carry, the choices you make, and the way you live your life. Once you understand this, nothing will ever be the same. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what to do to project confidence that commands respect, create intrigue that pulls women in, radiate calm dominance that inspires desire, hold high-value standards that demand respect, and live authentically in a way that no woman can ignore. This isn't theory, this isn't fluff. This is the kind of knowledge most men will never learn, and the results are immediate when applied. So stay with me. Watch every second, because skipping even a moment means missing the behaviors that can completely transform how women see you and how your life unfolds. By the time this video ends, you'll understand the energy, the mindset, and the presence that makes attraction effortless. This is your moment. Pay attention, absorb this, and take control of your life, because from now on, nothing will be the same. Let's start with something that seems simple on the surface, but is, in reality, the cornerstone of attraction: confidence. I'm not talking about the fake, loud, over-the-top confidence that most men think will get them noticed. I'm talking about a deep, unshakable sense of self, confidence that doesn't need validation, applause, or approval from anyone. This is the kind of confidence that commands attention the moment you enter a room, even before a word leaves your lips. And here's the thing most men completely misunderstand. Women don't respond to what you say, they respond to how you carry yourself. Your energy, your presence, your quiet certainty, these are louder than words ever could be. Confidence isn't something you can fake indefinitely. People, and especially women, sense authenticity instinctively. You might think puffing up your chest or speaking in an exaggerated tone will project confidence, but it rarely works because it's performative. True confidence comes from knowing who you are, accepting yourself fully, and understanding that you don't need to compete for anyone's attention. When a man owns himself, he stops apologizing for existing, stops shrinking to fit into someone else's expectations, and suddenly he becomes magnetic. There's an almost primal reaction that occurs when women sense a man who is completely comfortable in his own skin. They feel safe, intrigued, and drawn without even realizing why. Let me break this down further, because it's more than just standing tall or speaking with authority. Confidence is fundamentally tied to self-mastery. It's about controlling your emotions rather than letting them control you, about taking responsibility for your actions instead of blaming the world, and about walking through life with the understanding that your value is inherent, not contingent. Most men rely on external validation, likes, attention, compliments, as a measure of worth. That's weakness, and it's transparent. Women instinctively detect this neediness, and it repels them. On the other hand, a man who radiates confidence from within is untouchable in a way that words or gestures can't achieve. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but I'm not naturally confident. How do I get there? The truth is, confidence is a skill, not a gift. It's cultivated through action, through experience, and most importantly, through self-awareness. Start by recognizing your strengths, not just the surface-level ones like your appearance or job title, but your character, your intellect, your ability to handle life's challenges. Write them down if you have to. Reflect on them daily. Own them without arrogance. Arrogance is loud, confidence is quiet. Arrogance seeks approval, confidence doesn't need it. That subtle distinction is what separates men who attract effortlessly from those who constantly struggle for attention. Another critical element of confidence is presence. Presence is not about talking over others or dominating a conversation. Presence is the ability to fully inhabit your own space, to move and speak in a way that conveys inner stability. When you're present, women notice. They feel your energy before they even know your name. They sense the difference between a man who is fully alive in the moment and one who is constantly distracted, anxious, or self-conscious. Presence requires practice because it demands that you quiet the mental noise, the doubt, the fear, the insecurity, and operate from a place of grounded certainty. Let's also talk about vulnerability because many men fear it, but here's the paradox. Vulnerability, when paired with confidence, amplifies attraction. This is not the kind of vulnerability that screams weakness or desperation. It's the kind that shows you're self-aware, honest, and emotionally mature. When a man can acknowledge his imperfections without apologizing for them, when he can express his thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment, he becomes irresistible. It's magnetic because most men are afraid to show this side of themselves. They hide behind bravado, masks, or humor, and it only creates distance. Women are drawn to men who are real, who are grounded in self-confidence, yet unafraid to show depth. Confidence also intersects with decision-making. Women are instinctively attracted to men who can take action, who can lead when necessary, and who trust themselves enough to make choices without hesitation. This doesn't mean you have to dominate every situation or ignore input from others. It means you understand your priorities, trust your judgment, and act decisively. Indecision, over-apologizing, or constant second-guessing undermines attraction because it signals insecurity. Confidence communicates that you are in control of your life, and that energy is deeply compelling. And here's something that will shock most men. Confidence isn't about eliminating fear. It's about acknowledging fear and acting anyway. Every man feels doubt, hesitation, or anxiety at times. The difference is that confident men don't let it stop them. They step into challenges, they speak their truth, they pursue their goals relentlessly, and they do so without the need for constant reassurance. This mindset isn't just attractive, it's transformative. It changes the way women see you, but more importantly, it changes the way you see yourself. You stop being a man who waits for permission or approval, and you become a man who commands respect effortlessly. Now, let's make this practical. How do you project this kind of confidence daily? Start small. Speak clearly and with intention. Make eye contact when you talk. Stand and walk with purpose. Stop apologizing for minor things, your presence, your ideas, your choices. Engage in activities that challenge you and push your comfort zone. Each victory reinforces inner confidence. And most importantly, eliminate dependence on validation. Stop scrolling social media for likes. Stop seeking constant approval from peers, and stop comparing yourself to others. Confidence grows when you measure your worth internally, not externally. One final point, confidence is contagious. When you embody it fully, it affects everyone around you. Women feel it, men respect it, and your environment begins to shift. It's not manipulative, it's not a trick, it's a natural magnetism that comes from being whole, self-aware, and unapologetically present. Most men will never achieve this because it requires honesty with oneself, courage to stand alone if needed, and consistency over time. But for the man who masters it, the rewards are profound in attraction, in relationships, and in life. So as you leave this moment, remember this. Confidence is not about proving anything to anyone. It is about owning who you are, embracing your strengths and flaws equally, acting with presence and purpose, and stepping into life without fear. When you do this, you stop chasing, you stop needing, and you become magnetic in a way that words cannot explain. And here's the truth that most men will never realize. The most attractive thing you can ever be is yourself, fully, unapologetically, and with unwavering confidence. So today, make a decision. Stop shrinking, stop apologizing. Step into the room as if you already belong there because you do. Own yourself, act babu. Eighth presence, embrace your strengths, and watch as the world and the women in it can't help but take notice. Confidence is not an option, it is a necessity. And once you grasp it, nothing will ever look the same again. Now that we've explored the power of confidence, let's move to the second behavior that completely transforms attraction, the art of mystery and unpredictability. This is one of those truths that most men overlook, and yet it is astonishingly powerful. Here's the reality. Predictability kills desire. Women are naturally drawn to men who spark curiosity, who challenge expectations, who leave a little room for imagination. Think about it. When everything about a man is transparent, when he over-explains, overshares, and is easily readable, the thrill fades. Attraction thrives on intrigue, on the subtle push and pull of not knowing everything at once. Mystery is not about playing games or being manipulative. It's not about texting her sporadically just to make her chase you or pretending to be someone you're not. That's a shallow imitation of what we're really talking about. True mystery comes from having a life, a mind, and a presence that cannot be fully predicted. It comes from depth, the kind of depth that is quietly noticeable, that makes people pause and take notice without effort. Women are drawn to men who live beyond their immediate gaze, who carry experiences, thoughts, and passions that are not fully accessible, and that subtle distance creates fascination. Let's break this down psychologically. The human mind craves novelty. We are wired to pay attention to what surprises us, what challenges our expectations, and what triggers curiosity. Predictable men who are always available, always agreeable, always saying what everyone expects, trigger nothing but complacency. On the other hand, a man who cultivates mystery activates intrigue at a subconscious level. Women find themselves thinking about him even when he's not around. They analyze his words, recall his energy, and wonder what he's doing or thinking next. That is magnetic. Unpredictability works hand in hand with mystery. It is the subtle element of surprise that keeps interactions alive. It doesn't have to be dramatic or reckless. It's not about extreme stunts or attention-seeking behavior. It's in the small, intentional actions that make life interesting. A different choice of topic in conversation, an unexpected perspective, a spontaneous plan. These signals show that you are not a man whose life is linear or boring. Unpredictability signals autonomy, freedom, and independence. It says, I live my life on my terms, and I cannot be easily categorized or controlled. This is exactly the energy that draws younger women in, like a magnet, because it taps into their innate desire for excitement and authenticity. Now, I want to stress something critical. Mystery is also deeply tied to emotional intelligence. It's about knowing what to reveal, what to hold back, and when. It's about pacing yourself in conversation and in life. Most men ruin attraction because they overexpose themselves, every thought, every feeling, every detail. This creates a sense of familiarity too soon, which paradoxically diminishes intrigue. Women don't need to know every aspect of your life immediately. They need to feel that you have a world they want to explore, that your presence brings an element of the unknown, and that discovering you is a journey rather than a checklist. At this point, some of you might ask, doesn't mystery make me seem distant or cold? That is a common misconception. Mystery isn't coldness. Coldness is detachment, emotional unavailability, or indifference. Mystery is selective openness. It's about revealing the right things at the right time in the right way while maintaining a life and energy that cannot be fully predicted. It's balancing accessibility with depth, and it's this balance that triggers desire. Women are not attracted to men they can completely understand. They are attracted to men they want to understand. Philosophically, mystery aligns with the concept of self-possession. A man who is mysterious is a man who is whole. He does not need constant external affirmation. He is not empty, seeking to fill gaps by oversharing or overselling himself. Instead, he cultivates his mind, his interests, and his experiences, and he allows the natural curiosity of others to draw them in. Mystery is not a mask, it is the natural byproduct of living a rich, self-directed life. When you live fully and authentically, mystery naturally emerges, and women are attracted to that depth. There is also an element of timing involved in mystery. Revealing too much too soon diminishes its effect. The slow reveal, the carefully paced disclosure keeps the attraction alive. Think of it like a story unfolding. Every conversation, every shared experience adds a new layer, a new facet to your personality, and keeps the emotional and psychological interest alive. Unpredictable, yet consistent energy creates rhythm. Women crave rhythm because it feels alive, dynamic, and rewarding. Predictable men create monotony. Unpredictable men create fascination. Another key aspect of mystery is the way it intersects with confidence. Only a confident man can be mysterious without appearing insecure or aloof. A man who doubts himself or fears losing attention may withhold information out of insecurity, which comes across as defensive or awkward. True mystery comes from a place of strength. It says, I am not defined by your perception of me. I am complete, yet I choose to share pieces of myself intentionally. This conscious, controlled presence is profoundly attractive because it signals independence, self-worth, and emotional maturity. Unpredictability and mystery also allow for emotional stimulation in relationships. Women are drawn to men who make them feel alive. Routine, predictability, and overexposure dull the senses. Small surprises, unexpected insights, and thoughtful spontaneity engage the mind and heart. It is in these moments that desire intensifies. A man who can be playful, thoughtful, and unexpected without losing his sense of self creates a dynamic that is hard to resist. The key is intentionality. It must be grounded in authenticity, not manipulation. Finally, the mastery of mystery requires self-awareness. You need to understand your own energy, your limits, your passions, and your boundaries. When you know yourself, you can curate what to share and when, and this curation is what creates intrigue. Mystery is not withholding for the sake of withholding. It is selective revelation born from self-possession. And when done correctly, it creates a magnetic pull that is subtle but irresistible. Women are drawn to men who live in ways they can't fully predict because it mirrors an element of freedom, autonomy, and depth that resonates on a deep psychological level. So, as we reflect on this, remember, mystery and unpredictability are not tricks, games, or manipulation. They are reflections of a life fully lived, of a mind fully engaged, and of a man fully in command of himself. By cultivating depth, pacing your revelations, embracing emotional intelligence, and allowing the natural unpredictability of a rich life to emerge, you become magnetic in ways that most men cannot even imagine. The women who are drawn to this energy are not just attracted superficially. They are intrigued, engaged, and compelled to explore the layers of your presence. Here's the takeaway that will stick with you. Intrigue is not something you create by trying harder. It is something you cultivate by becoming more. By living a life that is intentional, by being self-directed, and by revealing yourself in ways that are measured, you make attraction effortless. Mystery is the quiet magnetism that makes people think, feel, and wonder. And when you master it, you don't chase attention, it comes to you naturally. So take this insight, live it, embody it, and watch as curiosity turns into fascination, and fascination turns into undeniable attraction. Now, let's talk about something that most men completely misunderstand but is absolutely crucial in attraction: the power of calm dominance. This is not about aggression, intimidation, or control. That kind of behavior pushes people away. Calm dominance is a deeper, subtler energy, and it is far more magnetic than the loud, overt displays that most men mistakenly equate with strength. Women, especially younger women, are wired to respond to a man who exudes calmness in the midst of chaos, who remains unshaken when the world around him is frantic. It is a signal of strength, stability, and emotional mastery, and it is one of the rare qualities that make a man truly unforgettable. Think about the difference between a man who panics and a man who doesn't when something unexpected happens. Panic is loud, frantic, and self-focused. Calm dominance is silent, measured, and outwardly reassuring. When chaos erupts, maybe it's a work problem, a family issue, or even something small in daily life, most men react instinctively, emotionally, or defensively. Women notice this. They feel the energy shift. On the other hand, the man who stays composed commands the room without saying a word. He signals control over himself and his environment. This kind of energy is deeply attractive because it reflects the ability to protect, guide, and lead without force. Calm dominance is about mastering your inner state before you attempt to influence the outer world. It starts with self-awareness. You need to recognize your triggers, understand your emotions, and ensure they don't control your actions. Most men allow anger, fear, or insecurity to dictate their behavior. They raise their voices, rush to judgment, or try to assert dominance through physical or verbal means. This is reactive behavior, and it is unattractive. Calm dominance, in contrast, is proactive. It is the ability to maintain composure even when provoked, to act from a place of intentionality rather than impulse. Women are drawn to this energy because it signals reliability, stability, and emotional safety, all of which are deeply attractive on a subconscious level. There's a psychological explanation for this, rooted in evolutionary biology. Women are wired to seek partners who can provide stability and security. In ancestral times, calm, composed men who could manage crises were better protectors and providers. This instinct has not disappeared. Today, it manifests in subtle ways. A man who can navigate stress, handle unexpected situations, and maintain emotional equilibrium signals competence, confidence, and reliability. Women feel this instinctively. It is why calm dominance is magnetic. It speaks directly to a fundamental, often unconscious need. But calm dominance is not just about external behavior. It is about internal mastery. It is the result of consistent self-discipline, reflection, and experience. It requires you to step back in tense moments, breathe, and assess the situation before reacting. It demands that you prioritize rational thought over emotional reactivity. This kind of presence is rare because most men live on autopilot, reacting to life rather than intentionally steering it. When you cultivate calm dominance, you differentiate yourself from the average man. You become someone women naturally respect and feel drawn to without you having to say a word. A practical aspect of calm dominance is body language and tone. Your posture, gestures, and voice convey more than any words can. A steady voice, slow, deliberate movements, and relaxed posture communicate power in a subtle but undeniable way. Women respond to energy before content. The way you move, the way you stand, the way you handle interruptions or challenges, these are all part of the signal of calm dominance. It is silent, understated, yet profoundly effective. Another critical aspect is decision-making under pressure. Calm dominance is demonstrated in choices. Women notice men who can make tough decisions without hesitation or drama. Indecision, constant second-guessing, or visible stress erodes attraction because it signals instability. The calm, decisive man communicates certainty and competence. He does not rely on external validation because he trusts himself. This trust in one's own judgment is magnetic because it aligns with the deeper instinctual need for a partner who can navigate life's challenges. Let's also discuss the role of patience in calm dominance. Most men rush to react, to control outcomes, to assert themselves aggressively. Calm dominance requires restraint. It requires the ability to wait, to observe, and to act at the precise moment with intention. This patience is seductive because it demonstrates mastery over impulses, over the chaos of life, and over the immediate need for approval or recognition. Women sense this control, and it communicates competence, power, and emotional security. There is a subtle interplay between calm dominance and confidence. You cannot be calm and dominant if you are insecure. Insecurity fuels overreaction, neediness, and a desperate desire to assert control. True calm dominance flows naturally from unshakable confidence, the kind we discussed earlier. When a man embodies both confidence and calm dominance, he becomes magnetic on multiple levels. He signals to women that he is both grounded and capable, and that combination is incredibly compelling. Confidence tells them he knows his value. Calm dominance tells them he can handle life's unpredictability with grace. Emotionally, calm dominance also fosters deeper connections. Women are drawn to me, N, who can hold space emotionally, mentally, and physically without being overbearing. This presence allows women to feel safe, to open up, and to engage on a deeper level. Men who are reactive, anxious, or volatile create tension and distance. Men who are calm and grounded invite intimacy and trust. Calm dominance is therefore not just attractive in a superficial sense, it lays the foundation for meaningful, lasting connections. A powerful illustration of calm dominance is in conflict. Most men argue, raise their voices, and escalate tensions unnecessarily. The calm dominant man listens, assesses, and responds intentionally. He does not need to win because he understands that control and influence come from composure, not force. Women notice this. They feel it. They sense that he can handle challenges without compromising his integrity, without losing control of himself. This kind of energy is rare, and rarity is inherently attractive. To develop calm dominance, you must cultivate self-discipline, self-awareness, and emotional intelligence. Practice observing your reactions before acting. Train yourself to respond rather than react. Engage in activities that challenge your resilience, such as physical training, complex problem solving, or situations that test your patience. Each experience reinforces your ability to remain composed under pressure. Over time, this energy becomes second nature, not forced, not performative, but an authentic expression of your mastery over self and environment. Another dimension of calm dominance is the way it intersects with authenticity. Women are incredibly sensitive to energy that is forced or performative. A man pretending to be unshakable is transparent. Calm dominance must emerge naturally from competence and self-mastery. It is grounded in reality, not illusion. Women are drawn to the authenticity of a man who is composed because he has cultivated his life and mind, not because he is trying to impress or manipulate. This authenticity amplifies attraction in ways that no superficial tactic ever could. As we bring this into focus, consider the broader implications. Calm dominance is not just about attraction, it is about life mastery. A man who embodies calm dominance navigates relationships, careers, and challenges with intentionality and control. He becomes magnetic not through superficial tricks, but through depth, presence, and self-mastery. And when this energy is combined with confidence and mystery, the effect is exponential. Women are not just attracted to him, they are intrigued, drawn in, and inspired to invest emotionally. So here's the truth I want you to hold on to. Calm dominance is not about force, it is about mastery. It is about presence, composure, patience, and emotional intelligence. It is about demonstrating without words that you can navigate life's chaos with grace and certainty. This energy cannot be faked, it must be cultivated from within. And when you achieve it, you don't need to chase attraction. Women will naturally gravitate toward your calm, grounded energy, sensing the strength and stability that most men lack. Remember this, the most magnetic men are not loud, aggressive, or desperate. They are composed, confident, and intentional. They do not react impulsively, they act deliberately. They do not overexpose themselves, they reveal themselves with purpose. Calm dominance is a quiet force, a subtle power, and an irresistible magnetism that leaves a lasting impression. If you master it, you transform not only your ability to attract, but your entire approach to life. So today, make the choice to cultivate calm dominance. Step back, observe your reactions, control your energy, and act with intention. Stand firm in your composure, make decisions with clarity, and allow your presence to speak louder than words. This is not just a skill, it is a way of being. And once you embody it fully, you will notice something remarkable. People, women especially, are drawn to you not because of what you say or do, but because of the energy you carry, the calm, commanding energy of a man who knows himself and his power. Now, let's dive into something that most men completely misunderstand: the power of high-value standards. This is a concept that, when mastered, can completely transform the way women perceive you, the way relationships form around you, and ultimately the way your life unfolds. Most men think attraction is about effort, charm, or persistence. They believe that saying yes to every invitation, agreeing with every opinion, and bending themselves to fit others' expectations will make them desirable. This is not only wrong, it is the fastest way to become forgettable. High-value standards are the opposite of that. They are the invisible magnet that pulls the right people toward you without you having to chase or prove anything. High-value standards are rooted in self-respect. When you respect yourself, others respect you. Women, especially younger women, are incredibly sensitive to this. They can sense when a man is willing to compromise his values or lower his expectations just to be liked. That neediness is unattractive. On the other hand, a man who holds himself to a standard in how he speaks, what he tolerates, how he acts, signals worthiness in the most powerful way. This is not arrogance. It is not about thinking you are better than anyone else. It is about knowing your worth and refusing to accept less than you deserve. And here's the truth. Most men never grasp standards are magnetic because they communicate security, self-awareness, and intentionality, all of which are deeply attractive on a subconscious level. Think about it psychologically. Humans are wired to respect competence and consistency. When you have clear boundaries, when you maintain your principles even under pressure, women instinctively recognize your stability and integrity. This is why high-value standards are more important than charm or superficial attraction. Women don't just want a man who looks good or says the right things. They want a man whose life values and decisions reflect quality. When you demonstrate this consistently, attraction becomes effortless. It is no longer a matter of convincing someone to like you. They are drawn to your energy naturally. High-value standards also communicate independence. Most men fall into the trap of dependency on attention, validation, or approval. This desperation is transparent, and it repels women. A man with high standards, on the other hand, is self-directed. He does not chase attention because he has no need to. He does not compromise his priorities to fit someone else's desires. He acts from a place of autonomy and purpose. And here's the paradox. The moment you stop trying to please everyone, the moment you refuse to settle for less than you deserve, you suddenly become irresistible. Women are drawn to men who are in command of their own lives, who have clear boundaries, and who live with intentionality. Let's get practical. High-value standards are not abstract. They manifest in every area of life. They are visible in your time management, the way you prioritize your goals, the choices you make in relationships, and even the company you keep. For example, a man who values himself will not waste hours on meaningless interactions. He will not tolerate disrespect, dishonesty, or unnecessary drama. He communicates clearly, acts decisively, and invests only in what aligns with his life and values. This clarity, this deliberate approach, signals high value in a way that is immediately perceptible and deeply attractive. An essential part of this is learning to say no without guilt. Most men fear that saying no will make them unlikable, that it will cause women to lose interest. The reality is the exact opposite. Saying no strategically communicates self-respect, clarity, and purpose. It shows that your time, energy, and attention are valuable. And when a woman sees a man who refuses to compromise his standards lightly, she instinctively wants to earn that respect. She is drawn to the sense of challenge, depth, and integrity that high standards convey. High-value standards are also about selective investment. Not every woman, not every interaction, not every opportunity is worth your energy. This is where most men fail. They spread themselves thin, they overextend, and they dilute their presence. A man who has standards invests in what truly matters. He chooses quality over quantity. Women sense this immediately. A man who is selective is not rejecting arbitrarily, he is demonstrating discernment, which is inherently attractive. Discernment communicates value, both of oneself and of others, and that energy is magnetic. Now, there's a deeper philosophical layer to this. High-value standards are not just about external behavior, they are about internal alignment. They require you to know who you are, what you want, and what you will accept in life. This is self-awareness in its purest form. Without this clarity, standards become performative or shallow, and women sense it instantly. But when your standards are authentic, consistent, and lived every day, they communicate depth, maturity, and power. They are invisible, yet undeniable. They signal a man who is complete in himself and does not need to overcompensate to be recognized. High-value standards also intersect with confidence and calm dominance, which we discussed earlier. A man who is confident and calm is better equipped to uphold his standards without fear of rejection. He does not waver under pressure. He does not bend to please others at his own expense. His standards are extensions of his self-respect and composure, and when these qualities align, the result is magnetic. Women are drawn not to what you say, but to who you are, and your standards reflect that identity clearly. There is also an emotional dimension to consider. High-value standards create healthy tension, which fuels attraction. If a man is too available, too agreeable, or too accommodating, interactions become flat and predictable. When a man holds his standards, he introduces subtle challenge and contrast. He invites women to engage with him meaningfully, to earn his attention, and to appreciate his presence. This is not manipulation, it is natural energy dynamics. Women are wired to respond to men who are consistent, confident, and discerning because these qualities reflect competence, integrity, and worth. It's important to note that high-value standards are not rigid rules or inflexibility. They are a framework for intentional living. They are about knowing what you will tolerate and what you will not, what aligns with your life and what does not, and acting consistently in accordance with those values. Flexibility exists within boundaries. True standards are adaptable but unwavering in principle. Women sense when a man's standards are authentic because they reflect a coherent, integrated self rather than a performative mask. High-value standards also create ripple effects in every area of life. They influence friendships, career decisions, and social interactions. They shape the way people perceive you. When a man lives with standards, he attracts people, and especially women, who resonate with his energy and values. He naturally filters out toxicity, neediness, and mediocrity, and attracts those who are aligned with his purpose. This filtering is not arbitrary, it is the natural outcome of consistent self-respect and intentionality. So, what does this mean for you practically? It means taking stock of your life, defining your principles, and living by them daily. It means refusing to compromise on core values. It means saying no when it matters and investing your time and energy wisely. It means recognizing that the way you treat yourself sets the standard for how others treat you. Women are drawn to men who demonstrate this clarity, strength, and self-respect because it signals not only value but also stability, integrity, and intentionality. Here's the powerful takeaway I want you to remember. High-value standards are the quiet force that elevates you above the ordinary. They are not about arrogance or entitlement. They are about self-respect, alignment, and intentionality. They are invisible, yet undeniable. They communicate worth and attract women who are genuinely interested in the real, grounded, confident man you are. Most men will never understand this, which is why so few achieve lasting attraction. But when you embody high-value standards consistently, you do not need to chase or persuade. Attraction follows naturally. So, take this moment as a turning point. Define your standards, live by them, and refuse to settle for less than you deserve. Stop seeking approval and start demanding respect, not through force, but through clarity, integrity, and self-respect. Women are drawn to men who have standards because they signal depth, stability, and authenticity. When you cultivate this energy, you do not just attract, you magnetize. Your life, your relationships, and your presence transform. And the best part? This power comes from within, from knowing your worth and living accordingly. Now, let's talk about the fifth behavior, the one that ties all the others together and makes attraction truly irresistible: authenticity in your actions. This is the behavior most men completely ignore, yet it is arguably the most powerful. Confidence, mystery, calm dominance, high value standards, all of these are essential. But without authenticity, they become hollow. They are like a mask, impressive at first, but ultimately unsatisfying and unsustainable. Authenticity, on the other hand, is magnetic because it communicates depth, integrity, and truth in a way that no performance ever can. Women, especially younger women, are instinctively drawn to men who are real because they feel safe, intrigued, and understood at the same time. Authenticity begins with self-awareness. You must know yourself, your values, your passions, your desires, and even your flaws. Most men avoid this work because it is uncomfortable. They distract themselves with external validation, material success, or superficial charm. But a man who invests in knowing himself, who understands his strengths and weaknesses equally, radiates an energy that cannot be faked. Women sense it instantly. They can feel when a man is aligned with himself and when he is not. Authenticity is not about perfection, it is about integrity. It is about being whole, honest, and consistent in both word and action. One of the most common mistakes men make is thinking authenticity is simply being themselves without effort. In reality, authenticity requires discipline. It requires thoughtfulness about how you act, what you say, and how you live your life. It's not a free pass to be careless or lazy. Authenticity is the deliberate alignment of your inner world with your outer world. When your words, actions, and energy all reflect who you truly are, you become magnetic because there is no contradiction. People, and especially women, are drawn to this coherence because it signals stability, honesty, and emotional maturity. Let's talk about the psychology behind this. Humans are wired to detect inconsistency. Our brains constantly scan for cues that indicate whether someone is trustworthy, reliable, or safe. Men who perform, who put on a persona, who say one thing but act another, trigger subconscious alarms. Women feel this immediately. Authenticity bypasses these alarms. It says, without a word, I am who I am. What you see is what you get. This energy is disarming. It creates trust, curiosity, and a deeper connection than charm, humor, or superficial displays ever could. Authenticity also amplifies the other behaviors we've discussed. Confidence without authenticity can come across as arrogance. Mystery without authenticity can feel manipulative. Calm dominance without authenticity can seem cold or aloof. High-value standards without authenticity can feel rigid or judgmental. But when each of these qualities is grounded in your genuine self, they become irresistible. A confident man who is authentic exudes real self-assurance. A mysterious man who is authentic creates intrigue without deceit. A calm, dominant man who is authentic radiates strength that is both approachable and inspiring. And a man with high standards who is authentic commands respect naturally without seeming pretentious. One key element of authenticity is vulnerability. Now, vulnerability does not mean weakness, it means emotional honesty and openness. Most men are afraid to show vulnerability because they equate it with a loss of control or power, but true authenticity includes the courage to show your human side, to admit mistakes, to express feelings thoughtfully, and to reveal depth without fear. Women are drawn to this because it signals trustworthiness and emotional intelligence. They sense that a man who can be vulnerable appropriately is capable of connection, empathy, and intimacy. Vulnerability, when balanced with confidence and calm dominance, creates a profound magnetism that few men ever achieve. Another aspect of authenticity is integrity in action. It's not enough to talk about who you are or what you value. You must live it. Your behavior, decisions, and commitments must align with your principles. A man who says one thing and does another creates confusion and erodes attraction. Authenticity is consistency. It's the alignment between intention and action. Women notice this. Consciously or subconsciously, they feel it in your energy, in your presence, and in the way you navigate life. Authentic men are rare, and rarity is inherently magnetic. Authenticity also requires courage, the courage to stand alone if necessary, to resist social pressure, and to live according to your own standards rather than the expectations of others. Most men conform because it's easier, safer, or more convenient. Authentic men do not compromise their core values for temporary comfort. This courage communicates strength without aggression, independence without arrogance, and depth without pretense. It creates a presence that women can't help but notice, respect, and be drawn to. Let's also examine how authenticity creates long-term attraction. Superficial charm may spark initial interest, but it fades quickly. Mystery may intrigue, but without substance, it disappoints. Confidence may impress, but without alignment, it loses credibility. Authenticity sustains attraction because it builds trust, emotional resonance, and real connection. Women remember authenticity, they feel it, they value it. And in the long term, it becomes the foundation of meaningful relationships, loyalty, and admiration. A man who embodies authenticity is also fearless in his pursuits. He does not compromise his ambitions or settle for mediocrity to please others. His actions are guided by his vision and his principles, not by external validation. Women sense this energy. They are drawn to men who live deliberately, who pursue life with clarity and purpose, and who do not bend to conform or seek approval. Authenticity is not performative. It is the natural outcome of a man who knows himself, respects himself, and acts accordingly. There is a profound simplicity to authenticity. It does not require manipulation, strategy, or pretense. It is not about impressing others or trying to be someone you're not. It is about showing up as your whole self, consistently and intentionally. It is about speaking truthfully, acting in alignment with your principles, and cultivating a presence that reflects depth and integrity. Women are drawn to this simplicity because it is rare, refreshing, and deeply reassuring. Practical authenticity means making deliberate choices in your daily life. It means living according to your values, prioritizing meaningful goals, and interacting with women honestly and respectfully. It means avoiding superficial games, empty flattery, or attention-seeking behavior. It means embodying your true self in everything from conversation to action. When authenticity becomes your default mode of being, it radiates effortlessly, attracting women who are genuinely aligned with your energy and vision. As we reflect on this, remember that authenticity is not static, it is dynamic. It grows as you grow. It deepens as you confront your fears, embrace your truths, and align more closely with your purpose. The more authentic you become, the more magnetic your energy. And here's the most important truth. Women do not just respond to what you say or do. They respond to the energy you carry. Authenticity creates a resonance that is felt, not explained. It is subtle, yet profoundly powerful. So here's the takeaway I want you to hold on to. Authenticity is the ultimate magnet. It integrates confidence, mystery, calm dominance, and high-value standards into a coherent, irresistible presence. It is not about perfection. It is about truth, alignment, and integrity. It is about showing up fully as yourself, without pretense, without compromise, and without fear. Women feel it instantly. They are drawn to it naturally. They remember it long after words have faded. The moment you embrace authenticity, everything changes. Your interactions, your relationships, and your presence shift. You stop chasing attention. You stop performing for approval. You become magnetic because you are grounded, complete, and real. And that is a power no man should ever underestimate. So today, make the decision to live authentically. Reflect on your values, align your actions, embrace your truth, and show up fully as the man you are meant to be. Authenticity is not a tactic, it is a way of life. And once you embody it, attraction will no longer be something you seek. It will be something that naturally finds you.